Have you ever stopped to ask why you feel so trapped by the need for others' approval? From the moment you take your first breath, the world around you starts shaping your thoughts. Families, schools, and communities whisper messages that tell you your worth depends on the nod of acceptance you receive. Every kind word and every harsh remark is like a small push that forces you to mold yourself into what others expect. This need for approval isn't a natural gift. It's a trap set by those around you. They know that if you keep chasing their approval, you'll never find your own voice. Behind this constant search lies a darker truth, the hidden forces of manipulation. Quiet influences, working in the background, have conditioned you to measure your value by how others see you. Your inner self gets crowded out by the heavy weight of what others think, leaving you with a constant sense of emptiness. In peeling back the layers of this conditioning, we see that the price of approval is steep. The more you give into this need, the further you drift from who you truly are. Inside each of us lies a part we rarely face, a hidden corner where suppressed impulses, dark desires, and deep insecurities gather. This shadow self is not a separate entity but a part of who we are, molded by every painful experience and every unspoken fear. Over time, the things we try to hide become louder, pushing us to seek approval and validation to cover the growing void. In the quiet moments, when the noise of the world fades, this hidden part speaks in soft, unsettling tones. It reminds us of all the times we felt small, of every moment when we doubted our own worth. These memories, steeped in regret and disappointment, mix with the desires we keep locked away. The result is a persistent feeling of emptiness, a sense that no amount of praise or recognition can fill the space left by our unmet needs. Our shadow self feeds on these vulnerabilities. It convinces us that the only way to feel whole is to hide behind a mask that pleases others, rather than facing the raw truth of our own emotions. This part of us thrives on the tension between what we show and what we hide. It grows stronger each time we ignore our inner doubts and let the world define our value. Every time we seek a compliment or reassurance, we give this hidden self more power, reinforcing the cycle of dependency on external validation. The dark truth is that this shadow is both a source of pain and a source of control. It manipulates us into believing that the approval we get from others is the only measure of our worth. At the same time, it keeps us locked in a pattern of self-doubt, making it hard to trust our own judgment. Instead of facing our failures and imperfections, we bury them, hoping that ignoring these parts will make them disappear. But the more we hide, the louder the shadow grows, feeding on our fear and insecurity. Every suppressed desire, every thought we push away, adds another layer to the mask we wear. In the process, the gap between our true self and the self we present to the world widens. This gap is filled with a mix of shame and longing, a constant reminder of the parts of us that we refuse to acknowledge. Over time, the need for external approval becomes a way to cover up the growing darkness inside, a desperate attempt to make the unbearable parts seem less real. Facing the shadow self means accepting that these hidden feelings are not flaws to be erased but parts of our complex nature. Yet, this acceptance comes with a bitter cost. The more we try to suppress or ignore these dark desires, the more they shape our behavior, driving us to seek comfort in the fleeting approval of others. In this struggle, the boundary between our true self and the influence of external forces blurs, leaving us caught in a cycle of self-rejection and endless need for validation. Ever feel like you're just a pawn in a game you never signed up for? Every day, forces around you pull the strings, shaping your thoughts and actions in ways that keep you chasing the empty promise of approval. It starts small, a like here, a comment there, until you begin to believe that your worth depends on these tiny, controlled moments. Every social media post, every advertisement, is designed with one purpose: to make you feel you're missing out if you don't join the crowd. These forces know exactly how to light up your insecurities. They use a mix of flashy images and carefully chosen words to trick you into thinking that only by following the trend can you be accepted. It's like a constant reminder that no matter what you do, you're never quite enough without their nod of approval. Behind the scenes, powerful players use algorithms and marketing tactics to feed on your doubts. Every time you scroll through your feed, you're met with messages that make you question your choices and push you further into a cycle of seeking validation. These methods aren't random, they are planned moves, set up to keep you hooked, keep you measuring yourself against impossible standards. This dark game of influence is all around us, operating quietly in the background. It takes control of your emotions, making you feel isolated and small, all while convincing you that the only escape is to keep looking for that next bit of external praise. Every notification and every ad is a tool, designed to tighten the grip on your mind and make you believe that your real self is never enough. If you're tired of being pushed around by forces you can't even see, this journey is only just beginning. Subscribe now to uncover more about how these hidden powers work and how you might finally start to fight back. The struggle to free yourself from the need for approval is a constant fight. It starts by noticing the moments when you reach for someone else's nod of validation. Every time you feel that pull, pause and ask if the urge is truly yours or simply a result of years of conditioning. Recognizing these triggers is like finding small cracks in a wall built up by other people's expectations. When you begin to notice these moments, you can start questioning the praise and criticism that come your way. Compliments and insults are not pure reflections of who you are. They are tools meant to control your behavior. By learning to see them as signals in a system that aims to keep you dependent, you slowly dismantle the grip they have over your feelings. This process isn't quick or easy. It means constantly reminding yourself that every kind word or hurtful remark is part of a larger plan to keep you in line. Another key step is trusting your own choices, even when it feels like the whole world is watching. Each decision you make without waiting for someone else's approval chips away at the old habits that keep you stuck. Trusting yourself means making decisions that might go against the norm, even if it feels uncomfortable. You face uncertainty and doubt every time you choose to act on your own thoughts. Yet, these small acts of defiance are powerful. They weaken the hold that external forces have over you. Cognitive reframing is another important tool. Instead of accepting the need for approval as something natural, you learn to view it as a product of external influence. Every instance where you reach out for validation becomes a sign that you are caught in a system designed to control you. By shifting your perspective in this way, you can slowly see the pattern behind your actions and begin to break it down. This battle against the chains of validation is neither straightforward nor free of pain. Each day, you face moments of self-doubt and internal conflict as you try to choose your own path over the familiar pull of approval. It is a constant reminder that the habits and expectations imposed on you over the years are not easily discarded. Every small choice made on your own is a hard-fought battle, a tiny crack in the fortress that has long held you captive. In the end, breaking these chains means accepting that the journey is slow and full of setbacks. With each act of self-reliance, however small, you push back against a system that has measured your worth by the standards of others. The fight is relentless, and every step you take reveals just how deeply the need for approval has been woven into your life. What if the true measure of your worth lies hidden beneath layers of deception and external praise? Deep inside, a call for something real pushes against the walls built by years of seeking approval from others. When you try to be authentic, you're forced to face parts of yourself you usually hide. Those raw, unfiltered pieces, your mistakes, your scars, your doubts, are not polished for the world. Instead, they remind you of every time you fell short, every time you were made to feel less than you are. This struggle for true self-worth is a bitter road. It means rejecting the easy comfort of compliments and the predictable sting of criticism. In its place, you confront a harsh reality. Real value is messy, painful, and often concealed under a thick layer of regret and self-doubt. By daring to be genuine, you chip away at the power of those forces that have always measured you by someone else's standard. Yet, every step forward reveals that your inner truth is not a neat escape from pain, but a constant battle with vulnerabilities that seem to multiply in the dark. Have you ever felt like you're standing on a fragile ledge, peering into an endless void, with every step threatening to pull you deeper into the darkness? In the final stretch of this journey, the promise of self-mastery looms like a distant mirage. It suggests a way out of the constant need for approval, yet the path forward remains tangled in the same forces that once controlled you. Here, the illusion of freedom is stripped bare. Self-mastery isn't a grand escape from pain. It's a daily battle against the lingering shadows of doubt and the subtle whispers of manipulation. Every decision you make, every attempt to stand alone, is met with the weight of years spent chasing empty praise. Even as you try to trust your own voice, the ghost of past conditioning and the remnants of external control continue to haunt your choices. The fight for true independence becomes a series of small, hard-won steps. Each moment of standing firm in your own truth feels like a rebellion against a system that has always measured you by others' standards. Yet, the journey is laced with bitterness. Every step forward exposes the scars left by relentless judgment and the constant fear of being unworthy. In this dark realm of self-mastery, there is no neat resolution or easy victory. The struggle is ongoing, a perpetual war where the enemy is both the world outside and the echoes of your own self-doubt. And as you look ahead, the future remains uncertain, a bleak landscape where the promise of liberation is as fragile as the ledge you walk upon.